Hey, been a while. Here's a recap of everything I've been doing since Portugal. Also, I haven't gotten a haircut since I left the US, so my hair is a little long right now, and it's in its, let's call it, awkward and bad stage. So I'm just gonna put that on. I'll probably get it cut soon. But I left from Portugal to the Middle East. I actually went to Bahrain. There's an H in the middle, so you have to pronounce the So Bahrain. And I stayed there for about a month and a half with my buddy Sal, who is my co-founder in an application I'm making, which I'll talk about a little bit later. But it was really nice. It was quite a relaxing stay, just because I really didn't have anything I needed to worry about. I didn't cook, I didn't clean, I didn't really have to do anything like that. And during that time, I just worked basically 100% of the time on Cello. Also, there's just like this big feeling of privacy there. You know, people respect other people's privacy, and I didn't want to be invasive with like a camera or anything like that. So it was a lot of that going around, and it's kind of chilling there, so I didn't really want to like force anything. But of course I filmed a few things. I had a lot of fun just kind of exploring around.
A new place, a new home for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride.
What really stuck out to me was just like the amount of cultural differences that I've never really even thought about. Like, for instance, there's a sense of tribalism just because it's a pretty brand new nation, at least where they are. So basically there's like multiple tribes, and there's tons of people that are just related to one another. And so if your like family is wealthy, it spreads throughout the family. It's very interesting in how that works. And there's a lack of crime in that sense as well, because if someone did something bad in your family, it sullies the name of the family, right? And so your last name, whoever you are, will now be associated with that person that did that. And it brings shame upon the family, basically. And because it's like a fairly small island, everyone kind of knows one another's families in that sense. So it's very interesting. The other thing that struck out to me was like how weddings happen there. There's two weddings. One of them is for the woman, one of them is for the man. And so it's basically like all the men go to one wedding and all the women go to one wedding. Very different. But, talking with the locals and like getting an understanding, I guess, of their beliefs, the way that they thought, it makes a lot of sense. Just different. It was also very funny. We went out to the desert. And basically just a group of Sal's friends, they would get together, friends and cousins, right? They would get together and we would just have picnics basically out there, just eating some food, standing around the fire. And I'd say that's definitely where like my cultural shock came in, because everyone around me was speaking Arabic. So I couldn't understand anything. And there's a bunch of people, they're dressed differently. We're in a tent that looks very different, very, tribal in a sense. But it was a really fun experience, I think. But again, most of my time was spent there working on Cello. I cannot tell you how many lines of code I wrote, but it was a lot. Basically, everything that I did, I incorporated short form video, I incorporated collections so that people can like add posts to a collection of sorts, kind of like how Pinterest has them. You can pin to a collection. I'm trying to recount like all the features that didn't exist before, and there's a lot. So my quick little elevator pitch of Cello, just to get this out of the way, right? It's a social commerce platform where people can share locations, products, places, shops, anything that they're really interested in, and share it with others, as well as buy and sell products within the application. Think of it almost as like Yelp meets Amazon meets TikTok. I hope that gives a pretty good view of what we want Cello to be. We just want it to be a place where people can share the things they love, support people that they love, businesses, small businesses that they love, and in return to help build and better the community around them. Okay, so apparently my camera decided to die on me, and it's been 8 minutes, and so I don't know exactly where I left off. But yeah, there you go. That's what I was like mainly working on while I was in the Middle East. It was a lot of work. I added so many things. And there's going to be a ton more work done on Cello. We have a VC meeting this week, so that's going to be exciting. We haven't gotten that before. So we think we're at least generating a little bit more interest in the idea. And it is on the App Store, so if you want to check it out, we're just not heavily marketing it at the moment, so it's pretty empty. It's just me and Sal that are basically posting on the application. But if you want to post, feel free. But yeah, after Bahrain, I went directly to Turkey. I accidentally booked the wrong days on my flights, so I arrived there 2 days earlier than I should have for my flight here to Greece. So I decided to stay a couple days in Turkey. I didn't realize that's a massive city. Like there's, I think he said like 20 million something inhabitants in just Istanbul itself. And I was like, that's crazy. And then we drove through and there's just skyscrapers everywhere, just giant apartment buildings all over the place. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty big. It kind of reminded me of when I flew over Sao Paulo. I didn't really stay in Sao Paulo, but I remember flying over Sao Paulo and just seeing giant skyscrapers or whatever you want to call them all throughout the city, just like giant residential buildings everywhere. And so, yeah, I got a little, I don't know how you say it, like culture shock or, this feeling of like anxiousness while I was there. There was something, I don't know. I didn't like the feeling while I was there. And I don't know if it's just a mindset thing or whatever, but there was something of just like, I should just stay in my apartment for a while. So I kind of did. But I did go exploring during the day and go to a few shops. I went to they have famous candy shops there. So I went there. I tried their Turkish ice cream. That was delicious. And then I saw a few of their mosques, which are pretty humongous. Oh yeah, that completely reminds me. So I didn't realize this, but in like Islamic or Muslim countries, all of the mosques just have 5 times a day, they have their prayer call, right? I didn't realize that they actually blasted like the prayer call on speakers. And they try to like cover a radius. Istanbul does this a little bit better, I think, than Bahrain, because like the radius of that mosque covers a certain area, and then they try to plan it out where the other mosque will cover the other area nearby. So like the entire city is kind of covered. Whereas in Bahrain, they didn't really plan that out correctly. So you would sometimes have like overlapping prayer calls. And it was kind of interesting. But yeah, I didn't realize that happened. So that was very interesting just to hear people 5 times a day kind of praying. It was very cool. But yeah, after Turkey, I came here to Greece, and I'm staying here in Crete, which I didn't realize was so big. There's actually giant mountains here. Like there's snowy mountains just that way, and then like the beach is maybe like 5-10 minutes away. But it's a beautiful island. I came here during, the winter time, so it's a little bit chillier than it probably normally is, and there's not as many tourists because I think this is like the off season. But rent is cheap, so I'll take it. But yeah, then I arrived in Greece, and then, I guess part of me was just, what if I got sick? How fun would that be? So, silly me, I decided to go ahead and get a cold where I was just shivering all day, got a cough where I was coughing all day. After coughing so much, I got a headache. Oh boy. And then from that headache, as soon as I would cough more, it'd feel like my head was about to explode. That was a fun time. Fun times.
Oh, don't mind me. I've got a little bit of laryngitis tonight. Yeah, that's right. I'm sounding pretty wonderful.
Anyway, that was like Saturday, so I'm better now, obviously. I still have a bit of a stuffy nose, but I'm getting over it. At least I can think clearly again. I think that's fun. But yeah, that's basically been my time for the last 2 months. I arrived here in Greece, and now I'm just back to working away, trying to get work done on Cello. I'm hoping to make some more videos, both on this channel as well as my programming channel. I haven't made a video in there since Portugal as well. And yeah, this traveling has been a lot of fun. I will say it's pretty funny because I just find myself talking to myself a lot more just because I'm traveling alone. I wonder how crazy I look to bystanders or something, because I definitely talk to myself while I'm going down the street or something like that. I'm like, what should I get done today? Blah, blah, blah. Or maybe if I make a left turn here. It helps me I guess recognize where I am in the city and how I get back home a bit as well if I'm just talking. So I don't know. Maybe it's fine. But I feel like people look at me a little bit different. But it could also be that I'm American and also my hair looks like this right now. So who knows? Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been fun. Hopefully next time you see me, I'll get maybe a haircut or something. I don't know. I'm trying to decide if I should grow it out more just because I've never done that before and it'd be kind of fun. But right now I'm in this awkward stage and I hate it. So I'll probably shave it all off. Thanks for watching and have yourself a good night. Bye.